Hey there guys, CB from CJB Studios here, and today I am back at it with another movie review. It has been quite a while. It's actually been almost 8 months as the time I'm recording this, because the last movie review that I did was on the Polar Express, and that was a Christmas movie. And since I haven't done any of these in a while, I figured why not get back into it by reviewing a superhero movie. And in case you guys couldn't tell by the thumbnail or the title of the video, I'm going to be reviewing Sam Raimi's Spider-Man from 2002, starring Tobey Maguire as the title character. Yep, I'm going to be reviewing it. I've actually been wanting to review this movie originally back around May or June. But of course for May I was doing all the Star Wars stuff, and for the first week of June I was sick. I did actually do a walkthrough on the first movie near the end of the month, and I also did it for the other two installments of the trilogy as well. And yes, I will be doing a walkthrough on the... Well, no, not walkthrough. I will be doing a review on those two movies as well, so stay tuned for that. They will be coming out soon as well. But, yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, so let's just get right into it. So, Spider-Man was released on May 3rd, 2002, and it was a box office hit. It was like a big hit at the box office, let me tell you. It was getting hyped like crazy. And, well, it went through a lot of production issues, but I'll save that towards the end of the review. So, right now it's time I get into the film's plot. So the movie opens up with the origin story of Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man. And for those of you who don't know what happens, Peter Parker goes to a field trip at a science lab in New York City. On the way there, he meets Mary Jane Watson, played by Kirsten Dunst, on the school bus after being late for it. And he also meets Harry Osborn, well, his best friend, played by James Franco, as well as Harry's father, Norman Osborn, played by Willem Dafoe. In the science lab, Peter Parker tries to get some pictures of some of the spiders, and when they're about to leave, he decides to get some pictures of MJ with some. However, unbeknownst to him, a red and blue super spider bites Peter's hand, and then when he gets home after the field trip, what he does not realize is that the spider's power is being transferred into him. Okay. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn is doing a test on some performance enhancers. Unfortunately, the performance enhancers are not ready yet, and after endorsing them, he ends up going insane to the point where he kills Dr. Strom in the process. The next morning, Peter wakes up to find out that he no longer needs to wear his glasses, because if he puts them on, his vision will look blurry, and without them, he'll actually see things more clearly. Not only that, but he also has the ability to sense anybody in danger, such as catching Mary Jane after slipping on a puddle of apple juice in the lunchroom, as well as shooting webs out of his wrist, the latter of which actually causes a fight with Flash Thompson after he gets covered in some food from a lunch tray that Peter accidentally swung at him with the web being attached to it. After that, Peter Parker also learns that he can climb walls like a spider can, since each of his fingers have little barbs on them. The next morning, Peter Parker decides to buy a car with lots of money for a $3,000 reward. Or, I think it's $3,000, I don't know. I've seen the movie too many times, but I kind of forget the number there. Anyways, Uncle Ben, played by Cliff Robertson... Oh, I almost forgot. Peter lives with his Uncle Ben, played by Cliff Robertson, and his Aunt May, played by Rosemary Harris. I almost forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry. Anyways, Uncle Ben takes Peter to the wrestling match, or in this case the library, as he lies to him about going there. And before going inside, Uncle Ben has a bit of a talking to with Peter. And one thing he tells him is, with great power comes great responsibility. After Peter fights in a wrestling match against Bonesaw, played by the late Macho Man Randy Savage, he finds out that someone has killed his uncle. It was a carjacker. And as it turns out, it was actually the same guy who stole the money after the wrestling match. Peter, of course, goes after him and kills him, But then he soon realizes, he remembers what Uncle Ben told him. And because of that, he dons a new superhero costume. And now, whenever people are in danger or if something bad is happening, he goes in to stop it and save the day, with many people praising him as Spider-Man. Except for J. Jonah Jameson, voiced by J.K. Simmons, who think he's a criminal and a menace. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn learns that he has been fired from Oscorp due to bombing, oh great. What was that other company's name? I forgot what it was. It was some other kind of military company or something. I don't know. It had something to do with an exoskeleton. But because of him bombing the place, the Oscorp is in the wake of it, and basically what happened is Norman got fired, and of course he's angry about that. And as revenge, he ends up attacking the Oscorp board members at the Oscorp Unity Festival. And in the process, he almost ends up killing Mary Jane, who is on a 5-story balcony, or some type of balcony. But Spider-Man is able to save her. The next day, J. Jonah Jameson accuses Spider-Man of attacking the city alongside the Green Goblin, the latter of whom ends up breaking into his office and tries to ask him who takes the photos of Spider-Man. And of course, J. Jonah refuses, and Spider-Man tries to stop the Green Goblin. But unfortunately, Spider-Man gets knocked out with some sleeping gas, or paralyzation gas, or whatever type of gas it is, and the Green Goblin gives him a choice. He can either join the Green Goblin's side, or he'll do the right thing and actually saving people, to whom the Green Goblin thinks is nothing but misery. After encountering the Green Goblin again in a fiery building, Norman Osborn somehow begins to learn that Peter Parker could be Spider-Man after seeing a drop of blood after that encounter. Later on that night, he attacks Aunt May, and then kidnaps Mary Jane and forces Spider-Man to save her, or a tram car full of children that he was holding hostage. Spider-Man saves both of them, but after doing so, the Green Goblin fights him inside an old abandoned hospital. After a bunch of brutal punches, as well as Peter Parker / Spider-Man's mask getting blown up after getting thrown with a pumpkin bomb, it's later revealed to Peter that Norman was the Green Goblin all along. And when the Green Goblin begs Peter to help him, he then decides to try impaling him with his own glider. But Peter dodges it, and it ends up killing Norman instead. The next day after that, Harry Osborn tells Peter Parker that Spider-Man will pay for killing his father. And once that's over, Peter Parker / Spider-Man begins swinging from building to building, ending the movie entirely. So, that was my review on Spider-Man 2002. And if I'm going to be honest, it's a really good movie. Like, I've seen this lots of times growing up. Like, I'm telling you, when me and my brother and sister were kids, my brother would watch the heck out of this movie. He would know everything about it. He would know, like, who Norman Osborn and Peter Parker were. Like, he would talk about it a lot. Now, keep in mind here, I didn't see this movie when it was released. I was 3 years old when this film came out, so I didn't actually watch it until 2 years later, I think, in 2004, which is coincidentally the same year Spider-Man 2 came out. And what's even funnier is that my brother actually dressed up as Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2. So that was pretty cool. In fact, he even had a Spider-Man 2 blanket at the time, which was also kind of nice. Not only that, but there were some friends of ours that had this bump and go Green Goblin glider toy. Like, if you flip the switch, the pumpkin bombs would light up, and the glider would, like, roll around on the ground. I think I might still have the Goblin figure somewhere. I don't know what happened to the glider. And I think there's also a bendable Spider-Man action figure that I might still have. It's in that closet over there. Okay, I know I'm kind of getting in a little bit of a nostalgia here. But yeah, like when we were kids, my brother loved Spider-Man, and like I said, Spider-Man was a big hit at the time, and like it was everywhere. like in 2002. It was going like crazy, you know. Like I said, there were toys about it, and there were a bunch of ties to other things like McDonald's or Burger King and Lego. Oh my gosh, Lego. A lot of you guys aren't going to believe me, but Spider-Man was actually the first superhero to be a Lego minifigure and a Lego theme, because in 2002, when the studio's theme was still going, they decided to make some Spider-Man Lego sets. And then in 2003, they continued that by having its own theme with Spider-Man. Then they did it again in 2004 for Spider-Man 2. Props for that. Had it not been for Lego Spider-Man, we wouldn't have gotten Lego Batman or the DC and Marvel superhero themes that we have today. Pretty cool. And speaking of Spider-Man, I got a special treat for you folks. This is the full screen 2-disc special edition DVD release of Spider-Man that I've had ever since we were kids. Here's the spine. Here's the back of it. Here's disc 1 with Spider-Man on it. And here's disc 2 with the Green Goblin. Pretty cool, right? So, yeah. That was my review on Spider-Man 2002. I hope you guys liked it. But we're not done yet. Join me tomorrow when we talk about Spider-Man 2. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.